Hello all you VR divers, and thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World. In this video, I'll be reviewing the Aubika Rechargeable Grips for the Quest 2 touch controllers. There are a lot of different grips for the Quest 2 controllers, including those with easy to open battery doors. But who wants to take the time to change batteries out when you can just recharge them while they're still in the controller? There are options that do that with rechargeable batteries that have USB-C ports in them. But Aubika's innovative design using two metal connectors on the battery door and the extended grip to add USB-C charging points, you won't have to open anything up anymore. And here they are. I honestly have to say I'm rather impressed with these grips. The batteries are molded so they connect to the battery doors and won't move around enough to disconnect from the two metal connectors. Another idea I'm surprised more companies haven't gone with is attaching the knuckle grips to the battery door itself instead of the silicone cover. This strengthens the knuckle strap connection point and won't wear out the silicone over time. A downside to this though is it can dig into that space between my index finger and my thumb, but even that minute issue isn't so bad. Now, to charge the batteries, on the bottom of each grip there's a USB-C charging port. And the good thing about the positioning of these ports are they are out of the way in a space that you rarely touch. So you can connect something like a magnetic charging end to make it easier to charge the battery and protect the port from being damaged. The knuckle straps are made from a decently tough silicone rubber. I spent a few hours with these strapped to my hands and I haven't had any issues with them breaking at all. So I feel like they'll last a good long time before breaking down. At the bottom, the grip contours down to a slimmer fit. I like this because it shapes to your hand a lot better and makes for a more comfortable grip, even with smaller hands, as I have asked one of my friends to test out. Though for a younger person it doesn't fit too well, but it's still comfortable. The elastic bands at the bottom are strong as well. I've pulled them tight multiple times, and while there's a bit of deformity in them stretching out a bit, it is tolerable and hasn't been an issue with me. Even while playing Beat Saber, I haven't felt the bands hit my fingers or wrist yet, even though eventually that will happen. But there are things you can do to prevent that, like wrapping the band around your pinky finger. One of the issues that I found with the fastener for the elastic band is the button is really hard to push in. I'm guessing the spring is really strong to keep the band from coming loose, which is a good and a bad thing at the same time, because it makes it hard to undo and remove the controller, so I've just been leaving it tightened to take it off and put it on. Taking a look at the inside of the battery door, you can see the two metal charging bands that connect to the battery. This is a great design for charging an internal battery, and I'm curious if any other company is going to adopt something similar. Another issue I found is there's no place to attach a wrist strap. While this won't be a problem for most people, I find the extra security of the wrist strap nice. Just in case the knuckle strap does fail, you won't throw your controller across the room. I did find that wrapping the wristband around the elastic band is a good alternative, though if the knuckle strap fails there, you still have the potential of throwing your controller. However, it is better than not having a wrist strap at all in my opinion. Installation of the grips are pretty straightforward. The only thing you have to really worry about is making sure the correct battery goes into the correct controller. Luckily, Aubika added an R and an L on each battery to indicate which controller it should go into. Once the battery is in, next you need to fold back the silicone cover and expose the battery door. You'll need to pull it down over the knuckle strap as well, so take care when doing that. Once you have the silicone cover about halfway down, you can insert the controller. Make sure to line it up properly before clicking it into place. You can damage it if you are too rough when trying to lock it in. Once the controller is locked in, just fold the cover back over. Make sure it lines up with the triggers and all the buttons are clear, and then fasten it at the front. Now, I'm going to take a moment to point out the front fasteners are set up in a way to not cover the front IR emitters. Covering up these two emitters doesn't really matter unless you're pointing the controller at yourself. But the fact that Aubika took that into account means they were thinking about the product and the customers who might be using it. Something else I want to point out is the front fasteners here. They are high quality and durable even though they are made out of silicone. I am comfortable with how well these are made. With the setup of these grips, it does make it easier on these fasteners, and Aubika could have cut corners here, but they didn't, and that is wonderful. The last thing I want to discuss here is the position the controller sits on my hand. I can easily reach the back button on the controller, which reaching the back button is an issue I found on similar grips. I believe Aubika picked up some of these grips to see what problems they had and try to work them out of their own grips. And except for a few small issues I found, they seem to have done an effective job at that. Aubika really seems to have put time and effort into making a good quality product, and it really shows with some of the features they've added to these grips. All in all, I would definitely recommend these controller grips for how comfortable they are, ease of recharging, and the issues they seem to have worked out from similar grips. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the 2.0 version, and if they can work in a wrist strap for more security and keeping the controller in hand. Well, that is it for my review on the Aubika Rechargeable Grips for the Quest 2 controllers. And I want to apologize for sounding nasally, I'm just getting over being sick. So, thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World, and remember, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Bacon is the best breakfast food, so eat up, stay healthy, and I'll catch you virtual divers in the next video.